So I just got back from seeing Iron Lung, which was a movie that my brother hit me up, and I went to go see it with him. And he told me when he hit me up, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to go see this new Markiplier movie? It's a horror movie." And I was like, "Well, I'll go see a movie. I'll go to the theater, even if it's bad. If it's with my brother, I get a chance to." Connect, and I get a chance to hang out with my brother. So I just any excuse to go see a movie. Sure, if he wants to go see it, I'll go see it with him. And my brother's a bigger fan of Markiplier than I am. I know Markiplier through my brother. I loved Markiplier's playthroughs of like The Last of Us and Five Nights at Freddy's. I wasn't huge on the Minecraft stuff, but it's whatever. And I personally, my favorite stuff from Markiplier have been the Try Not to Laugh challenges. Those have been peak. I love those. So I could say that I respect and like Markiplier 100%. But I wasn't sure how I feel about this movie. Because whenever I hear a YouTuber is doing a feature film, I'm thinking Smosh the movie, and I'm just like, I remember the days of whenever YouTube would be like, hey, I'm a big YouTuber like Ryan Higa, and I'm like gonna make a movie, but it's gonna be a 20-minute short film because back in the day of YouTube, whenever 20 minutes were a long time, the movie quality wasn't always that great, and the short films were very amateur because of the technology and the or lack thereof. But this movie really surprised me, and going into it, I knew nothing. I thought I saw the trailer, I didn't. I thought I saw clips, but I didn't. I really knew nothing about this movie. I could have been, you could have put anything on the screen and I wouldn't have known the difference, right? I'm not familiar with the game Iron Lung. I'm not familiar with the source material. All I know is that Markiplier talked to the creator of it, and Markiplier was very passionate about it. And so we saw the result of that. And my God, I have to say, I'm very impressed. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised with how things are heading. And the movie is certainly it's an acquired taste. I would like to say that I can't recommend it for everybody, but if you're a horror fan, I recommend it 100%. I told my brother when I came out of the theater that I was very surprised, very I was open minded, of course, but I went in there judging it as a movie without the bias of having the source material or playthrough experience. So I wouldn't know if it was accurate to the source material, and I can completely understand where the purists are coming from. But in this particular case, I was just judging it as a film on its own. So all I gotta say is full on recommended for me. I really enjoyed it. Now, I will get into a couple spoilers here. I'm not going to spoil everything because I want y'all to see it and I want you to support it. So I will break down my thoughts, though, right here because this, I believe, I'm going to put in the fresh media category. 100% it deserves to be in fresh media without question. So, this film centers around a character named Simon, played by Markiplier himself. And it takes place in a submarine. Much like the game, as I understand. And it is about Simon being in the submarine, and he is going on a mission to excavate resources for humanity because apparently the stars and planets have been destroyed, and humanity's on its last leg. And so basically, it's a post-apocalyptic story. And he's on this mission to try and save humanity by finding a new place for humanity to colonize and more resources. So essentially he's in a submarine the entire movie. It's very claustrophobic. It reminds me a lot of the movie Gravity. A lot of people haven't seen it. It's with Sandra Bullock. But it has this claustrophobic feel. The first hour, the first half of the film, it's kind of slow. It takes a minute to get the ball rolling. There's certainly some criticisms I have of it with audio quality, lighting, pacing. They could have used a lot of the time early on in the film to really address some of the character background of the people that are involved. Who is Simon? Who is he working for? Who is Ava, the woman over the PA system that's talking to him? Things like that could have been a little bit more better explained, in my opinion. But nonetheless, where it devolves into is this claustrophobic horror story because he's underground, or no, not underground, but underwater, and he finds these giant Lovecraftian creatures that are stalking him, and he's trying to warn the people above, hey, there's something else down here. And throughout the movie, he slowly starts to lose his mind. And it starts to go the route of, like, it reminds me of In the Mouth of Madness by John Carpenter and 1408, if you've seen 1408. It's a very psychedelic, psychological horror film. It has a lot of cosmic horror elements. It's brilliant. Markiplier, I had a lot of doubts as an actor, but after seeing this, I'm like, this guy certainly has a lot of acting chops. He's not, obviously, he's no Matthew McConaughey, he's no Christian Bale, he's not a seasoned actor, but hell, he's better than Mark Ruffalo, in my opinion. If Mark Ruffalo can be an actor, if Simu Liu can be an actor, Markiplier can be an actor for sure. Anybody can do it. Anybody can play pretend. And Markiplier just, in this case, is really good. His acting is very believable. And there's certain nitpicks here and there, but I'm lighter on my criticisms of independent films because of the lack of resources and lack of technology, but they use their money wisely. They know where to spend it. They know where to make it look good. The film feels really lived in, very realized, very thought out. The set pieces are great. The acting's great. The final act gets absolutely bonkers. It is a horror movie for people who like the sense of dread. They like the mystery. And, they may not like the happy ending, but or people who would like this kind of thing would not like happy endings, because I will keep it light on spoilers, but this does not exactly have a happy ending. And from what I've been told, the game doesn't either. So there's a lot of creative liberties, from what I'm told, compared to the game. But again, I haven't played the game. I don't know anything about the lore. In fact, this movie made me want to go out and research the lore. It made me want to become a fan of the game. So that's what these movies should do. I was very pleased to see that no studios were attached to this. Hey, I'm all for that. Studios just drag you down because all they do is give you more executives. They might give you more benefits and more finances to fund your project, but they would have more executives breathing down your neck, and your vision would not be as complete. They were attached to SAG-AFTRA, which, to be fair, I get it. You're trying to have actors. You're trying to, I get that. But I personally am not a huge fan of SAG-AFTRA. And it seems to me like, whenever I see independent films like this with a big-time content creator like Markiplier, I think, well, that person must be making this Hollywood film so they can get into the Hollywood circle and be part of that system instead of breaking away. But Markiplier is already an iconic name. He's already a millionaire, on his own. So he's doing this out of passion. He's doing this because he wants to do it, because this is a dream for him. And I can't admire that more than anything. It is something that I admire more for him as a writer and a director of this film and main star, because he's not trying to impress Hollywood elites. He's not trying to impress executives. He's just making a film based on a video game he loves, and he's making it because he wants to, because it's his vision. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I highly recommend Iron Lung. It is definitely, there's a lot of gore, a lot of blood. A lot of blood. I will say that. If you are not a blood person, this may not be the movie for you. But again, the psychedelic horror, the cosmic horror is brilliant. It is akin to the H.P. Lovecrafts, the Mouth of Madness, the 1408s, the John Carpenter type stuff. I loved it. And it does have its weak points, but nonetheless, it's very impressive. And it's way better than I thought it would be. But then again, I didn't know what to expect going into this film. This is actually the first movie I've ever seen where I didn't know anything about it before I went into the theater. So hats off to Mr. Markiplier, and well done. This is a recommended fresh media. So yeah, if you go see this movie, will you get to see Simon escape? Will you get to see him get consumed by the darkness? Who knows? But you will only know if you find out and watch the film. I absolutely liked it. I loved it. I would say, well, love may be a strong word, but I will say I loved it. Fuck it, I loved it. But I highly recommend it, and I put it under fresh media because we need more films like this from people like Markiplier. So, hats off to you, sir. I highly recommend Iron Lung. Peace out.